This is Xtracrizby.
Prepare your defenses.
Xtracrizby, 3200, Ashe, Torb, Junkrat. It's the hell of a combination.
Greetings.
Let's see what you can do an Ashe.
5, 4, 3.
This is a... Sorry, I just wanted to double check. Okay, there are ranks. Double check this. Come on, YouTube. Don't fuck with me on this.
Junkrat.
Diamonds, placements. Okay,
Prepare
that
your
works.
defenses. Select your hero. 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Do what I say and this'll go.
Okay, so I will just say you probably have already should have thrown out your dynamite. You get the Genji kill, that is good. But dynamite's not on a terribly long cooldown. As an Ashe, you don't really have to push people away immediately. There you go. Okay. So one, if the team's pushing the payload, you should definitely be using dynamite on that. Start weakening the main part of the force. Secondly, don't always push people away immediately. Like when that diva dove you in the Orisa, there's actually the shield behind her. I don't think you're in any really big threat to die. So you could have just unloaded a lot of shots into her. And if she used defensive matrix, hey, then she used, at least you baited out defensive matrix. If not, then you could have put a significant amount of damage into her. Your accuracy is a bit rough.
Fire at will.
At least it's shooting the Winston now. A little bit overkill. Bob is an incredibly strong ult. I would actually like to save him more for than a Genji, because I think the Genji has a good chance to build up ult faster than you. You're also not using high ground at all. I don't know if you're afraid about who's attacking you or whatnot, but you're gonna switch. Okay. Torb. If you want, I'm just trying to think like what are Torb's strengths, and is he really good at what's happening right now? He's not terrible against Genji because any type of evasion-based tank is going to be, or evasion-based hero is going to be weak against an auto-aiming turret to a point. If you're actually thinking of Torb as a good thing. Something's happening onto your right. Okay. This is Torb! I mean, it's not glamorous. You do sit back, you have 18 shots, you just keep pressure on. You can hear the diva around. The turret's there to cover your flank. This is good, actually. This is great. Their Genji. Alright, well, you tried. You tried. That's fine. But with your Ashe pick, like, there's a lot of positioning. You could have had better positioning, but and some better decision making, but you weren't hitting a lot of your shots. Be a little bit more considerate when you use that. So, what I mean by that is, you used it, and you kind of shot everything at once. Remember the ult does last for a little bit of time. I believe it's 6 seconds your ult lasts for. You don't have to just use everything right away. Watch out for the hammer down is what I'm worried about. Going on point. Careful. Okay. Again, be a little bit more deliberate with your ults. Sorry about the quality dipping to like fucking 4. But we just want to keep the stream going. I don't know what you're trying to think. You kind of got to make a decision. You want to back up. That hammer down is coming. Well, at least you overloaded right before that. Yeah, so the hammer down was come on. Like, everyone knew that was going. Try to separate you from team. Try to... You gotta know these ults are coming. And it's not like you have to... Everyone's like, oh, figuring out ult management is really important. Like, it is, but at the same time, you should just be able to feel who has ult and who doesn't, based on the kill feed. Yeah, if you're not perfectly tracking the ults, sometimes you'll get surprised. I get that, but that's actually not going to happen that often. Usually you can tell, you're like, alright, that hero's doing pretty damn good. I should avoid them in the next 10, 15 seconds because an ult's coming like that. Especially when they're just going to push on the cart and force your entire team on the cart, and then just ult the cart. Pretty damn easy. So, taking a right exit. It looks like you're going to do the sneaky way up. They have a Torb, so be careful on the flank. Trap. Missed everything. That sucks. Okay, this is good. Run here. You had the right idea. You had the opportunities. You just didn't follow through on it. Do I stream with 1 or 2 PCs? Currently, I stream with, like, right now, I'm actually not at my normal streaming spot, so I stream with 1. I'm actually streaming with 1 monitor right now and bad internet, so that's why it's a little bit rough. But normally I stream 2 monitors, 1 PC, just because I don't need that type of quality on my normal stream. I don't need another computer to do my encoding for me. It's not that big of a deal for small-time streamers. If I was pulling down like 500 users constantly, I would probably think about doing it. Okay, so I think you're doing a good job trying to just keep the choke point hazardous to the enemy. When playing against the D.Va, and if she's straight on you, okay, I was gonna say, if you're really tired of her, just fucking ult it. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something meaningful. God damn it. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, D.Va! That's it. You can slow down your shots. And so here's the big disadvantage with Junkrat versus D.Va. She can absorb multiple of your shots in one smidge. Saves your ass, it does kill a hero. You don't really need to jump. That's what I'm talking about when people just jump right on a hero. You don't really need to do that. So if you slow down your shots against the D.Va, she can't absorb like 2 of your shots at once or 2 shots and a mine at once. Because, you know, within 15 meters, or that's how long her defensive matrix is, she can, at one point in time, eat 2 shots. It's not like a hit scan where if she doesn't, she can't eat 2 hit scan shots up at once from the same user, right? That's the real big disadvantage Junkrat has. And the low clip size, so if she eats 1 projectile, it's really, it hurts, because you gotta reload shit. So if you slow it down, save your resources, and then once she's out, you can at least have a better chance of dealing with her. Everything there was fine. I'm glad you didn't get on the point directly, you just stayed back and shelled it. That's really important.
Get rid of me that easily.
Got her. Got her. They're a trap. You're going to get attacked. Okay, good. You will get attacked up here. They will hunt you down. Okay, they don't really have... If you kill the Winston... That works too. I would say if you kill the Winston, they'll have very little to deal with you with high ground rise. This throws a concussive mine at the brig. There you go. That's what you wanted.
Experience tranquility.
Okay, I would get off of the payload at this point in time. Now they're going to send a significant amount. Like, you trap the payload, then get the hell away. Yeah. Yeah, just like that. Cool. That works. Yeah, just remember, you don't have to be on the payload. Sure, I get it, you want to be next to stuff, you want to be closer, but it's best not to be on the payload, because that's where the enemy's attention is going to be at. As a longer range class, you want to be a little bit farther away while shelling the point. Also, it allows you to make easier decisions. So right away, I'm already going to say one of your issues is understanding Junkrat's distance. Now watch the right. Did you throw down a trap? Okay, you didn't set up a trap. That's fine, but you want to have a trap around now. Because you are gonna, at this point, you could already have something off cooldown. I really don't like standing there. I like going around the left side, using the wall for cover. Then going underneath, using that as just cover. Being where you were, you just had too many vulnerable spots to your left and right side. You guys still got a lot of time to defend this. So push up. What are you doing? Why are you giving up this point? Why is everyone giving up this point? Go down low, because everyone's going high. Basically, wherever your team's going, go out a different way. Cool, but... I mean, it worked. Let's throw a trap down sooner. Wasn't a bad move, but that's one of those times where you kind of got to play the objective. I don't know, it's a tough call. So if the Hanzo's just back there outputting damage, at the same time, if you crush the tanks in the front, then it's a lot easier to build ult off of the tanks in the front.
No one can hide from my sight.
Trap. Good shots. Tire. Just immediately tire. Okay. Whenever you do a jump at the enemy back lines, throw a trap, like, as you're going at them. Potato! Thank you for the raid, my friend.
Switching sides.
That could very have easily gone bad. Yeah, it's so risky. If any hit scan's looking for you, you're going to die.
Escort the payload.
So their plan, it seems like a long-range comp, and they have a Widow. Throw it crap. Throw freaking. The Widow's right below you and behind you. Your Widow got it. Just sound. Good zoning. Good trap. 200 health. Good. Get the hell out of there. This is all good stuff. Watch for the diva behind you. Throw a trap somewhere close. That's actually a good trap. I think he played it pretty well at that point in time. Are we doing VODs? Yep, we're doing VODs.
Nano boost almost ready.
No one can hide from my sight.
See what you would. Tyler. Get that silver. Oh, shit. Okay, that is great. The Widow got the Widow. I saw what you're going for.
You're powered up. Get in there.
What?
Roll that.
Payload has reached the checkpoint.
You have to crouch walk if you're trying to be sticky. Yeah, get the hell out of it. I think they know you're down here and it's really dangerous. To your left? Trap? Oh, trap that goddamn doorway. God, it's loud. I can hear them all out there. Don't fight. Don't fight at that range. That mid-range is Junkrat's worst. There is very little you could have done at that range.
Science will reveal the truth.
Get into position.
Okay. Weird. It looked like your Orisa was right on that. Well, that happens. What range should you play Junkrat at? I really feel like I always avoid mid-range. It's Junkrat's worst range. And some people say it's actually Junkrat's really strong range, and that's a bunch of bullshit. Maybe if the enemy doesn't know you're there, mid-range is good, because it allows Junkrat the time to retreat. But if they know you're there, and they can dodge you, then mid-range is your weakest. Where Junkrat is really strong is, I think he's really strong between the ranges. So I think mid to long, he has an edge, because people, honestly, they forget about you. They just don't really care. It's a strange phenomenon, where if Junkrat gets far enough away, people just don't give a damn. Also, if you bank shots behind people, which if you're shooting behind people to hit them, I'm assuming you're already at long range. As soon as something goes past someone, they forget about it. They just go, doesn't matter, it's behind me, and you'll start hitting those ricochet shots, and it really pisses a lot of people off because they think it's spam when that's what you're actually looking for. Close range, like really close range, is good for Junkrat because then it's the closest his attack becomes the hit scan, and his mine is low. It's low. It's quick, right? His mine and his concussive blast and his primary are really slow. So the closer you can get him to being the quickest possible, the better. So that's close range. Once you start getting at 7-10 meters, where I start saying close range ends, is when people can kinda dodge Junkrat. It's getting a little bit iffy. At 15 to 20, they can definitely dodge him. So like this 10 to 15 range is okay-ish, but it's getting a little bit dangerous. I almost don't even think Junkrat plays it. I've been playing less and less about range with him and more about cover. I can play mid-range if I have cover. I really think it comes down to how safe can you be at the spot you're at. Well, mid-range is where he's weakest at, in open ground. But at the same time, I avoid open ground at every range. I avoid it at far range, like long, medium, and short. Like, I'd rather not fight someone in open ground if I have to. I'm always close to a wall. Always close to a wall. And if I'm shooting at an enemy, I'm usually shooting at an enemy that's close to a wall as well. Again, I avoid open ground. So this guy, how did he do? Well, he did play Ashe. And I don't even want to comment on it because he only played it for the first death. It was rough, but his issue a lot was accuracy. He had some positioning issues as well, but mainly he could not hit any shots. We briefly went over that. But I don't even want to comment on it because of how quick it was. Now we got an A. So as for Junkrat, as always, trap more. Trappity trap. 10-second cooldown. Use it, position it. Stuff like that. Oh, he also played Torb. I think his Torb was fine. He'll get a check plus. There wasn't really too much about Torb. We talked about it in the video. Don't blow your load all at once. That's the big thing. It does last for 6 seconds, so shoot a couple, see what's going on, shoot a couple. That type of stuff. Watch out for really telegraphed ults. That's not Torb specific. That's just general game sense. It's not even game sense. That was like, you knew that was happening. Everyone knew that was happening, and you just like, fuck it. I'll get hammer downed. As for the Junkrat, It's all of these, which is stop running at the goddamn enemy. Ever since I noticed this, I've noticed it so much. C-H-A-R. Charge. Fuck it. It's right. Stop charging at the enemy. I noticed this, like, when I first started reviewing people after a month or so, and I'm like, you know what? A lot of people just kind of run at the player when they're shooting at him. I get it. You want to be more accurate. You want to hit all your shots that you can. But for the love of God, running at the enemy is really, really deadly. You're going to get your ass kicked. As soon as they have two people looking at you, you're going to die. You can't kill two people very quickly like that. If one's a tank, then you're toast. It's going to take your entire clip to kill a tank if you just keep running at them. At that point, it's going to take 5 shots. Let's say 4 shots even. Let's say it's a Zarya and you got to hit 4 shots. Even if you hit all 4 shots, that's 0.6 seconds per shot. What is that? 6, 12, that's 2.5 seconds that someone can kill you. That's, you're not even looking at. That's, in Overwatch, time to kill is pretty low, so 2.5 seconds is pretty damn long. So don't charge at the enemy. Sit back. Sit back, relax. One of the most common things I will always tell people, and this is actually like a Wing Chun concept, is pick a side and then cleave to the center. Question is, okay to run if you're trying to get out of mid-range. It is okay to charge at someone, like, if you have nothing else in your toolkit. If it's like, alright, I'm at 10, 15 meters, and I'm just going to try to close this distance because, for whatever reason, I decided to engage them in open ground, and they're in open ground, and I'm in open ground, and there's nothing else I can do. Even then, charging at them makes you a lot easier to hit, so I don't even think I would say to do it there. I would rather you retreat and try to find cover. Now, if your cover's forward, you're going to be easier to hit. It's going to be telegraphed because you're trying to go for something. If you ever have an objective, it's really easy to hit people. Like, you're like, oh, that guy wants that health back. Easy. I can shoot him now. Oh, that guy's trying to get to that choke point. Easy. I can hit him. Even then, I would choose to start falling back. If you're at 15 meters and you have a choice to run at someone or retreat, retreat. Very quickly, you'll hit 20, 25 meters, and at that point, fall off starts taking effect, and that could save your life. And if you're at 20, 25 meters away, I think in most maps in the game, you have some type of cover that you can start using for yourself. Also, by retreating, you're getting closer to your allies, which is your supports and your tanks and yada, yada, yada. So you have a better chance of surviving that way. I think retreating is the correct answer to do. If your entire team is going in, then maybe I would say it's the right answer to dive in with them. But don't charge the enemy just because you do. Usually if you have a good reason for something, you can do anything in the game. You can do something that out of context seems like the dumbest thing possible, but in the right context, it could be the perfect move. So context is really important, and the problem is here I kind of have to go over general philosophies and questions and situations. So I kind of give you guys a ballpark answer, and I'm like, look, use this information to get you to like 4K. At that point, it becomes so situational that it's tough to talk about. I would have to see it, and I'd have to see all the variables, and I'd have to like be in it myself, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you can go forward here. But right now, at the level that I'm reviewing people at, not really necessary. Information. Also, we talked about Diva. Reduce shot speed to 1 second to bait out defensive matrix as long as possible, also to save your ammo. Because she's going to see you reload and then start shooting. If you force, at least you force her defensive matrix out, even if she does kill you. I mean, that's about it. Positioning. I think you're okay here. I mean, I could always say use the high ground more, but I'm very active personally in my playstyle. We could talk about being sneaky, because you did try to be sneaky a couple times. When sneaking, sneak. Sneaky equals sneak. Basically, when you're trying to flank and be sneaky and you start using concussive mind to get around faster, you stop being sneaky. And understand flanking has a... Flanking is a double-edged sword. So, while flanking, you can catch the enemy off guard, get a kill. Remember, it takes time, and in that overtime is when flanking kind of screwed you over. You wanted to do something cool, I get it. It almost did work. You got the Widow, but the Hammond was diving at the same time. Probably could have got the Widow himself. While you and the Hammond were flanking, your team died. Because it took time for you guys to flank, which means they had a free 6v4 for 5 to 10 seconds. Yeah. So, it's alright if the flank, it's alright to be sneaky, but if you're gonna all in it, but understand there are drawbacks. Usually in overtime, you don't flank, and if you do, you have to do it before overtime, or you have to do it if you're, like, pushing the cart, and you've just killed the enemy team, you have to be flanking and be in a position for when the enemy attacks. Again, you don't want to flank when the enemy is just chilling here. You actually want your team to be pushing up, engaged, and they have to be engaged, and then that's when you do this final little flank and kill them. If you flank without your team, the enemy simply looks this way, kills you. That's it. And that can take less than half a second. It's like a quarter of a second for people just to pivot and kill you. No big deal. Specifically, they have a diva. They're going to send a diva. If their team isn't engaged, you're going to send a diva on you and you're dead. Accuracy. So, with all of these, we've talked about it as well. Don't just jump on the point. For no reason. This has to do with the charging. You're a long-range class, and it greatly assists you to see what's going on as a projectile-based character, to be at a little bit farther of a range, and to make better decisions than being in the mist, just hoping to hit someone. Like, you're a weak class, you have no defensive abilities. You're going to get killed more often than not if you just jump on the point. And more importantly, the enemy is going to be just using ults and abilities on point, and you're just going to take splash damage from all that shit. It's best to sit back, see where the enemy's coming from, where they're going. Remember, you specialize in area denial. Get this, the payload, it's an area. So you can sit back and shell it. And yeah, I mean, you can do your job better from far. Can't do your job better, but you can do your job from farther away in a much safer climate. There's a time and the place to jump on the point, and I don't think when you have 2 or 3 tanks is the time or the place. Let them stay on the point. Cover your supports, make sure they're safe. Support your tanks from the back. That's kind of what a longer range DPS's job is. Overall, I mean, it's not terrible Junkrat play, but, you know, you definitely have places to improve. Accuracy will come with time. I can't really explain too much about that. Just understand projectiles. Understand that, you know, we've talked about it twice. Any type of cylinder you can hit, you have really good control off of with ricochets. With ricochets in general, I mean, you're aiming for essentially high traffic areas. I'm trying to think. You actually didn't really get on the high ground and saw high traffic areas. Something to work on. But we talked about it a lot. I think we're good. I think we're good on that one. Oh, shit. Pause you. I would avoid double jumping snipers. You did it 3 times, and you did get kills, but I think it put your team at too much of a disadvantage. I don't mind you double jumping when you have one on the ground, so that you can one shot and then mine and kill someone and get out of there. That's perfectly fine. I think that's a beautiful way to flank as Junkrat. But at higher SR ranks, the amount you're jumping, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to die. There's nothing more I can say about that. The more you stay in the air, the more you're floaty, the more you're going to get shot. Against higher skill people, there's nothing stopping them from just destroying you. I know it works at lower SRs, but I would try to... It's okay to have that skill set in your back pocket, but don't be exercising it constantly like you were.